guys find that Ganassi thing?
What, about Ganassi not being?
Yeah, why are you more competitive than Ganassi?
Because Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing is better than Ganassi. Why? I don't know. I mean, you know, they did a better job of prepping their cars and getting everything ready to go. It really is that. You know, they just did a better job this weekend of making their cars quick.
So how do you approach the race? Again, you're in a small team. There's not that much budget if you crash a car or something like that. Is that something that plays in your mind to just go flat out and see what happens?
No, you got to be careful. Like if you wreck the race car, I think everything goes out the window. You got to keep the race car in one piece and going in one direction. And
that might play in your mind a split second when you try and move.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think I'll be very cautious in the beginning. I think a lot of people will, though. I think I've seen in years past at the start, you know, people are, you know, they try and take it a little easy because they realize how long of a race it is. So I'm going to think no differently. I'm going to try and be as cautious as possible. It's hard to talk about it. You talk about it all month, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be cautious, and
then it happens.
And then you get in the race, and stuff happens, and you're like, oh crap, you know. So
it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
How are you treating this race? I mean, are you able to? Obviously, it's so cool and it's new. And are you able to keep your emotions in check and treat it like every other race? Or for yourself, I mean, are you nervous?
I think you have to. You have to keep it in check because once you don't, and you know, you start letting it get to you, then that's when things start going bad. So you know, you got to keep it in check, like you said. You got to be able to just not big the race up. It's a huge event. It's just so big, and there's so many people and so many sponsors, and, you know, so many family members and crew members and all that. So if you start letting that get to you, then you know it's tough to focus on what you need to do. So you just got to focus like it's another race. You got a job at hand, and you go and execute. And that's how you do it.
So how do you do that? Like, how do you just block it out? You know what I mean?
You just do it. You just do it. You mentally tell yourself to do that. You know, there's no secret to it. I mean, maybe other guys have their routines or whatever, but what can you do? You're gonna get a massage before the race or whatever it is. You know, for me, you just do it. You have to put yourself in that mode that, hey, it's another race. You kind of zone some of the stuff out, or you just embrace some things as they are, and you just go on with what you're doing. But you're trying to just not make it as big as it is.
Do you have any superstitions? You won the lights race last year. Anything you're going to stick to with that?
I have no superstitions. I try not to have superstitions. Superstitions are bad. That's when you get in trouble. You know, if you have superstitions, then that can mess with you. If you don't get something done that you have to get done, then you start thinking about what you had to get done that you didn't get done, and you know that can mess you up. But I'd almost say for people that do have superstitions that you have to do superstitions because it's a mental thing. And if you don't get it done, then you won't be in the right mental state. So I don't really have anything, and I try not to have any because I think they can mess with you.
Did Sarah give you any advice on her first 500 experience?
Not from her first 500, but
she kind of came in a similar situation, young hotshot rookie, kind of took the media by storm a little bit.
Well, she's just given me all sorts of little advice. You know, it's with everything. You know, she never really pointed to anything specific, but you know, whatever it is that she's experienced, she's tried to pass on to me, and she tries and keeps us mentally in the right state throughout the whole month, and make sure that we're happy and calm and collected, and you know, able to go about our work in a good fashion.
Is that part of your? Do you have that in your personality, like that calm, take it in stride kind of personality, or do you have to talk yourself down into that as well?
No, I think so. I mean, I'm a pretty energetic guy, and I try to enjoy everything that happens. But I think naturally too, I try and just, you know, I take things as they come. Try and take it easy, and that's an advantage. I think if you can be like that, this sort of series, it's a huge advantage mentally because you have to be like that. How are you going to deal with everything if you're not? So, absolutely.